Hey, thanks for joining me today. Last day of March 31st, 2023. My name's Tom Coffey, and I got a phrase that I've been thinking a lot since the big announcement yesterday. You know the phrase, you come at the king, you best not miss. It's a warning as old as time itself, passed down from generation to generation, but what happens if you do miss? Well, it's like playing Russian roulette with a loaded gun. You might get lucky, but chances are you're going to end up like a turkey on Thanksgiving, stuffed and roasted. And let's not forget, there are kings lurking in the shadows, waiting for you to make a misstep. You're like the monsters under the bed, except they wear a suit and a tie, and maybe have an interesting haircut. But you come at them, you better be prepared to face the consequences. And those consequences are like a box of chocolates. I need to get some newer references. You never know what you're going to get. But don't worry. It's not all doom and gloom. If you're smart, stay out of their way, like a cat avoiding a bath. And if you can't stay out of their way, then you better bring your A game, like a knight warrior facing off against a dragon. Remember, folks, come at the king, best not miss. Or as they say in the mafia, if you're going to mess with the Don, you better bring your cement shoes. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffee Nuance Show, the best censored commentary and news show live. Right now, flame on. Hey everybody, thanks for joining today. With the big indictment that happened last evening or yesterday afternoon, I've been reminded of this clip. Let's see if I can play it. This is from The Wire.
Hey, yo, lesson here, babe. You come at the king, you best not miss.
Yeah. That was one of the best shows ever. I still prefer the Canadian series Intelligence over The Wire. It's like the Canadian Intelligence. But anyway, that was Omar in The Wire. You come at the king, you best not miss. And I am shocked. I am actually shocked at all these indictments of Trump. I have not looked into it enough. All I have is my gut on this. I haven't read a single story about it because, frankly, I'm a bit... I need a little time for this. Now, you've heard the expression, you can indict a ham sandwich. You've heard that, which means indictments really don't mean anything. I'm not sure, since we don't know what the charges are yet, or at least I don't know what they are yet. Who knows if anything will even come of this. It's something that I'm going to look into, but as of right now, I don't really have enough other than a gut opinion as to the consequences of this. I think this is really bad. I think this is a very bad precedent to set. There's been this kind of gentleman's agreement, or I guess in 2023, a gentle person's agreement, right? That you don't go after former presidents. And if you remember when Trump took office and they asked her, hey, are you going to lock her up? Are you going to lock her up? Speaking of Hillary, Trump said, no, we're just going to let it go and move on. And I kind of think that that's the best thing to do, because if leaders know that if they lose an election that, they could be going to prison, they ain't going to lose, It's not going to happen. And we need to have confidence in our system. We need confidence in our election. And if this becomes a thing, this is how you make dictators. This is how dictators are created. You want a dictator? Then you don't do this. That's my initial reaction to this. Initial reaction, but yeah, I'll have to think about it for a couple days. Maybe do a little research. You've heard about research. So I may get to that. But let's go over what we're talking about today. I truly think that this could be monumental with this Trump indictment. But I could be totally wrong too. Guess what? I'm wrong sometimes. In fact, I'm wrong a lot. Okay, so this is just my gut instinct on this. But does not make me feel comfortable at all. And I'm not even a defender of Trump. I'm just talking about the institution of the presidency. But yeah. I think the unintended consequences for this are going to be far greater than the Democrats have the imagination to have. The consequences for this are going to be far greater. That's my prediction. Than the indictment itself. So anyway, but we've got some other stories today. It is a Friday. It's a Fact Check Friday. So I guess I'll drag it out and do the Fact Check Friday after a couple of news stories. We're actually going to fact check Anna Kasparian of Young Turks. We're going old school. And we're going to show you something stupid she says and then fact check it. And you can kind of guess where that's going. But I want to talk about Rumble, the platform Rumble. They've acquired some new sports. That's exciting. Jail for a crayon drawing? I'm going to tell you about that, and I'm going to give you my gut instinct on it. Rapper Pras is on trial, and I think Leo DiCaprio is a witness in that. Oh my goodness. Then we're going to fact check Anna, and lastly, I have some good news. It involves a pub, and it involves Australia. So I think you're gonna like that. So first, let's get to what is happening with Rumble Sports. Okay, Rumble. You know Rumble. It is a streaming platform that you may be watching on right now. In fact, let me see. Is anyone watching right now on Rumble? Yes, Duggo is watching on Rumble, and so is Miranda. Duggo hit me up with a $5 tip. Thanks, Duggo. I appreciate that greatly. That means a lot to me. So the Rumble platform, video sharing platform, has reached agreements in principle to exclusively stream Nitro Rallycross, NRX, and Street League Skateboarding, SLS, as part of an expansion into live-action sports distribution. Rumble also previously reached agreements in principle for Season 2 and 3 of Power Slap, which is just ridiculous. But NRX features the biggest personalities in racing, including former F1 and NASCAR champions, while SLS, the Street Skateboarding League, is the pinnacle of professional skateboarding and skate lifestyle, featuring some of the most influential skateboarders in the industry. Rumble is positioning itself as the go-to destination for live digital sports, particularly those leagues which are built for social media and amplified by mega influencers. They're talking about me, the mega influencer. Tom Coffey. Mega influencer. That's who I am. And I should have pulled up my skateboard here and put on my helmet and say, hey, fellow teenagers. Done that meme. But I think this is this is a good move for Rumble. In fact, they announced their earnings yesterday. I think things went pretty well. And yeah, that's exciting. And if you have a smart TV, you can get a Rumble app. You can download the Rumble app for your smart TV. I know it works on Roku. I'm not sure about all of them. But you can download the channel, I guess you can say, the Rumble channel, and you can go on there and you can actually watch this show on your TV, as well as these great new sports platforms. They've been around a while. I remember Street League. I think they had something here in Portland like 10 years ago or something. They had one of the big events here. So I know it's a big deal. I ride a skateboard pretty much every day. I ride a longboard because I'm an old man and I'm not jumping on rails or going downstairs or anything like that. But I think this is exciting for Rumble. I think that this is a good move forward to expand what they're offering and get some more eyes on their platform. So that's a good thing. Have you checked out Rumble yet? Let me know if you have checked it out yet, because I think it is a growing media empire, and I think there's good things to come with it. All right. Did it again. Put another dollar in the cup. I got to stop saying all right. Verbal crutch. And I say it out loud to remind myself to knock it off. Bad host. Anyway, Russian single dad Alexei Moskalev has fled the country after he was sentenced to prison for 2 years in a case involving his 13-year-old daughter's anti-war drawing. This is it. Right there. He's been arrested in Belarus at the request of Russian police. Moskalev was charged with discrediting Vladimir Putin's military in social media posts, a claim he denies, and his arrest came a day after he fled house arrest before a court sentenced him. His daughter's artwork, which depicted Ukraine's flag and the words "Glory to Ukraine" on one side, and a Russian flag with the words "No to Putin/war" on the other, resulted in Moskalev being charged with discreditation. Discreditation. Interesting. The case has been drawn international attention and shed light on Putin regime's intensified efforts to silence and punish dissidents. Now, I have a hot take here. I've looked into this story. I've looked into the coverage of this story, shall we say. And all of the coverage seems to focus, all the headlines, all the pictures that accompany the story, they all focus on this crayon drawing of this 13-year-old daughter. And perhaps I am exposing myself as a shill for Russian propaganda. Tom is a shill for Russian propaganda. I don't believe this story. That's my take. I don't have evidence for that either. This is just my working assumption. This sounds ridiculous to me, and what I found covering the media the last couple of years, looking into the media, looking how the media writes clickbaity articles, something seems off with this, but I have zero evidence whatsoever to support that. So I don't know what this happened, but I want to make a prediction right now. I think we're going to look into this story in the future, in the near future, maybe a month from now, and we'll find out really what this case was about. But it was not about a child's peace drawing. I think this is an overreach of Western propaganda. They're trying to make the absolute worst story about Putin. And I can't think of anything worse. Can you think of anything worse than to say this guy's so bad, he jailed a dad because his daughter made a crayon drawing? But if it turns out that this is true, I guess I'll eat crow. I will be wrong. I will admit that I was wrong. I'll do a mea culpa on this channel. I don't think that I am, but we're just going to have to wait and find out if this story is really what they're presenting it as. But to me, it just screams that this is absolute BS and this is not real. That's my instinct. What's your instinct? Do you agree that this sounds absolutely insane and there's no way it could be real? Or am I just a sucker? Am I a sucker for Russian propaganda? That's possible as well, right? We'll just have to wait and see. But I wanted to kind of go out on a limb, make a prediction about this story, just so that I can judge, and you can judge, how my instincts are in disseminating media. So we'll just have to wait and see. But let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Pras Michel, founder of the Fugees and Grammy-winning rapper, is currently on trial for fraud and conspiracy. Michel is accused of conspiring with Malaysian financier Lotak Jo and launder embezzled funds from a state-owned investment fund. Prosecutors allege that Michel used the money to make illegal political campaign contributions and tried to persuade U.S. government officials to abandon a fraud investigation into Lowe's business dealings. He denies the charges. The Obama administration is implicated in the case. Oh my. And the pair is accused of secretly funneling $2 million to the campaign of then-President Barack Obama in 2012. Now, Pras Michel allegedly lied on disclosure forms to disguise the donations. The trial is set to last several weeks. And one of the big things with it, I hear that Leo DiCaprio is supposed to be a witness in that, but I'm not sure about that. Are you familiar with Pras and the Fugees? Oh, they were great. I loved Pras. I met Pras, I think in '97 on Smoke and Grooves tour out in Dallas. Very affable, charming guy. But that's the thing, right? Just because someone is likable and charming, it doesn't mean that they're above breaking the law. So, everyone can have their day in court. I have no insight into this. I know that he seems like a nice guy. I met him. He was really nice to me. So, and so that's what happens. Often that is a bias that we have. If we have met someone, if they were really kind, if you had a good conversation and hung out with someone, you're kind of rooting for them. But I don't know anything about this case at all. So, yeah, don't have a whole lot of insight to that. But it'll be interesting because as this is tied so much to the Obama campaign, will they want to find him guilty? Somehow that kind of implicates Obama as well. So we do have some competing biases as to, how the powers that be want this to end up. So we'll just have to follow it, and I'll give you an update on the channel when the case actually goes to court. All right, what do we have next? Oh, is it time for a fact check? I think it is. Okay, here we go. So let's see if I can do this. One of the interesting things that I'm trying to do, and I've been working on my studio, and there's a lot to it. That's why you kind of need a tech guy. Currently, the way I have it set up, I can't hear the clip when I play it, if it's to be recorded. I know that's weird, but that's just kind of how it is. So first, I want to play a clip of Congressman Jamal Bowman had an interaction with Rand Paul. And so I want to play that for you first. So let's check that out. And language in this here we go.
Freaking cowards. They're gutless. They're not here. I'm talking about gun violence.
You know, there's never been
I'm talking about gun violence.
in a school that allows teachers to carry.
Carry guns? You think more guns lead to more death? More guns lead to more death. Look at the data. You're not looking at any data. You're carrying the water for the gun lobby.
No.
Look at the data. More guns lead to more deaths. States that have open carry laws have more deaths.
In every school
States that have open carry laws have more deaths.
There's never been a shooting.
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yeah, calm down.
Calm down. Children are dying.
I know, I've got
9-year-old children. The solution is not arming teachers. Have you ever worked in a school? 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 It's a yes or no question. Have you ever worked in a school? You will not answer my question. Don't stop and talk to me. Okay, I'll bring it down a notch. Have you ever worked in a school?
I've got a bill to repeal.
I worked in the school for 20 years. I was a teacher. I was screaming before you came and interrupted me. I worked in the school for 20 years. I worked in school 20 years. I was a teacher. I was a school counselor. I was a middle school principal. I was in cafeterias protecting kids every day of my career. Clown. He can't even answer a yes or no question. Answer. Why won't they pass legislation? Why? Answer the question. Ask him right now. Make him answer.
Okay, so this is the clip that Anna Kasparian is going to talk about. And so I wanted to play the entire clip for you so you understand the context. And so now she's going to make some claims about this. And for the people that have been following my channel for a while, if you've been watching my fact checks, I think that you are going to be able to fact check this without me, using some of the things that I've brought up in the past. So let's just see how you do. I'm going to play this clip from the Young Turks and try to guess what I'm going to say about it. The clip is not that long. It's a minute and a half or so. So I'm going to play this clip. You watch it and you determine, you tell me, try to figure out how I'm going to debunk this. Okay, here we go.
So for those who might have had a little bit of difficulty hearing what Representative Thomas Massey, a Republican from Kentucky, was saying to Bowman in that video, he said, quote, "You know, there's never been a school shooting in a school that allows teachers to carry." And I would like Republicans to make up their minds about teachers. Are they dangerous groomers that we shouldn't trust? Or are they individuals that we should give guns to protect your children? And to be clear, I don't think that teachers should have the weight of having to do that on top of the low pay and the lack of appreciation they get on a daily basis. But with that said, I should note that there have been plenty of mass shootings where there's a resource officer or someone who's armed someone who is supposed to be protecting the students from mass shooters on campus, and didn't work out so well. Here's some examples. There was the shooting in Robb Elementary in 2022. There was an armed resource officer on the scene there. Same with Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, that shooting in 2018. Santa Fe High School shooting in 2018. Marshall County High in 2018. Great Mills High School in 2018. Santana High School in 2001. Columbine High School in 1999. Some of the deadliest school shootings in American history had an armed resource officer on the scene. But these politicians know that. They say what they say, they lie to our faces because they're paid to, and because their campaign donations from the gun lobby happen to be far more important to them than representing the best interests of their constituents and keeping Americans safe and alive.
All right, so that is the clip, and let's fact check it, shall we? Now, I would like to know, when you fact check, right, what I've gone through many times, the first thing that we have to do is establish a claim, okay? So what is the claim that we're going to fact check? Well, it sounds to me like Rand Paul made the claim that there have not been shootings in schools where teachers were armed. That's the claim. So that's what we're going to fact check. Now, I don't like this subject. I don't like talking about it. It's very sad to me. And I don't need to say that it's sad because I think we can all agree that this is a terrible, terrible thing. But sometimes we have to talk about terrible things to understand them a little better and not to freak out like Congressman Bowman was. He was really raising his voice, and it's understandable because he's excited, but that's really no way to have a discussion with someone. That's not persuasive. To yell at someone is not persuasive. Not at all. So if he's trying to be persuasive, didn't work. If he's trying to alienate and push away Rand Paul, then mission accomplished. He certainly did that. But the claim is that no shootings at schools with armed teachers. Okay? That's the claim. So I will ask the chat, what did Anna fact check? Did she fact check that? Yes, Young Turks equals stir the pot journalism. Oh, Massey. Damn, it is Thomas Massey, not Rand Paul. There you go. I'm wrong. It was Thomas Massey. I knew that. I just didn't have the name in the notes, and they look similar to me, right? All kind of, I guess you can say, all kind of libertarian-minded, middle-aged white guys look the same to Tom. Guilty. Thomas Massey, my bad. Oh, geez, that's embarrassing. That is embarrassing. Yes, and I would have known it was Massey had I been able to listen to the clip. Silly me. Anyway, she goes on. Let's take a look at. She goes on to say that these schools. See if I can find the graphic here. The deadliest school shootings in American history had an armed resource officer on the scene. Well, the question is, does that have anything to do with the claim from Thomas Massey? Does that have anything to do with this claim? That shootings didn't take place at schools with armed teachers? No. It has nothing to do with the claim. Zero. I can't even, you can't even use an analogy because this is so terrible. That is not That's not fact-checking. Okay, that's not what it is. And then when you actually look into it, these are terrible examples of it as well. I think Robb Elementary School last year in Texas, I don't think they had an armed resource officer. I think their resource officer did not have a gun. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018, yes, when you look into that case, there was one resource officer who was outside of the school, and they ran away and didn't do their job. So I don't know, bringing that up as an example, that doesn't really back up your case at all. You know, like that's not the point. But then in these other ones that I looked into, I was like, oh, let me find out what happened here. Like in Santa Fe High School, it was the resource officer immediately, there were two of them, immediately went to confront the shooter. One of them was shot. And that interaction stopped any further killing that took place. So the resource officers that were there in the school that confronted the shooter saved a whole lot of lives. So I don't think that, I mean, yes, there was a shooting, but it was stopped almost immediately from the resource officers. So I don't think that that really backs up this claim from Anna. In fact, it really is the dumbest, worst, non-persuasive thing to do. If you're going to fact check someone, at least fact check their claim. Now, as a teacher myself, I taught school, and I taught school in a very dangerous neighborhood. Very dangerous neighborhood. And I would not stop anywhere. I went to the school and then I went home. I would not stop anywhere where I taught school. Probably one. I was in one of the most dangerous places, schools, I think, in the country. It was right up there. And, you know, I don't know how I would feel about armed teachers or school shootings. The whole thing is terrible. The whole thing is terrible. Now, here's the thing. If you are trying to solve school shootings, they've come up with all kinds of recommendations as to what can happen. You know, arming teachers, that's one solution. There are a lot of different things that can be done. But I think just screaming in a hallway that you don't care, that's not helping anyone. That's not helping anyone at all. And perhaps after a little time passes, it might be good to go through what the recommendations are to, there are a lot of recommendations on what can be done to improve the safety of our schools. That's what we should really be talking about. But if you're going to take on someone's argument, you actually have to take on their argument. You can't just make up what their argument is. That doesn't convince anyone at all. Unless you want kudos for being loud and saying that you care more than other people. In which case, then, Anna did a fantastic job. She cares more than you because she's better than you. And, but frankly, this is not persuasive and it's not right, because you can look at the examples that she listed. And she said because there were shootings at schools that had resource officers, Therefore, having a whole lot more people with guns at the school would somehow wouldn't change anything at all. It's like saying, you know, in Portland, I live in East Portland. We hardly ever see cops. I've never seen anyone pulled over for a traffic stop because there's so few police here. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. It's kind of nice. You don't have to worry about getting a speeding ticket, or you know, there may be one of these automated vans that will catch you speeding, and if you run a red light, they got red light cameras, so can't run those red lights. But other than that, cops don't pull over people in Portland for like nothing, right? You really got to be doing something to get pulled over because they just don't have enough cops. But are you telling me then, by this logic that Anna has, that if we had 10 times the amount of police here in Portland on duty, that there wouldn't be more people getting pulled over for lane change and speeding and things like that? Of course there would. Or as Cenk would say, of course. This is really a dumb argument by Anna. It's just dumb. That's my conclusion. That's the fact check for today. And let's get to some good news, shall we? Because damn it, we need some good news. Residents in Australia are coming together to buy local pubs in order to ensure they remain open and an important community gathering place. When the Railway Hotel in Dingy, that's an Australian name for a town, Dingy, couldn't find a buyer, 20 locals purchased it. Sharing the duties and financial burdens of running a pub makes it easier, and since reopening, the pub has been a source of joy and celebration for the community. So, how cool is that? Pub's up for sale, community pub, and 20 people come together to buy it and run it. Man, that sounds awesome. I would love if there were a pub near me that were owned by 20 members of the neighborhood. Because you could pretty much, you'd be assured that there would always be people in there. That's for sure. Now, I don't know what it's like running a business if you got 19 other bosses. You know, there may be a little issue there. But I think this is a real positive news. You know, pubs are a gathering place, just like community centers and churches. And we need places to get together and have community with our community. I mean, I guess we kind of have an online community here, but in person, it's good to get some real live interaction with some people. Pubs are a great place to do that if you're okay drinking, and I think a lot of people in Australia are. And so community pub, man, I just think that that's good news. I'd never considered that before. I'd never considered that 20 people could pool their resources and buy a bar. That's kind of fun. That's a kind of fun, inspirational story. Gives you something to think about. You know, maybe you're in a small town, there's a bar and it's up for sale. All go in on it together. Perhaps. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Whether it made money or not, I think it would be a fun endeavor. What do you think? What do you think? Those are the stories I have for you today. Stick around for the after show. I will be going through all of your comments, and I have a couple announcements that I will tell you about after the outro. So I will be back on Monday. Until then, peace. All right, welcome to the after show. Big couple of things to tell you about in the after show. Didn't really associate with any of the news stories today. There were other things I wanted to talk about today, but frankly, there's a lot going on. Like Elizabeth Warren has a new campaign. I guess she's running for senator again, and she's creating an anti-crypto army. Yikes. So I want to do some research into that. Tell you about that next week. This Restrict Act about the TikTok ban. Warner is talking about it. He's made some claims about it that are just frankly BS, but I didn't have enough time to get into that. I want to say happy birthday to Fez. If you know, you know. And who's watching WrestleMania this weekend? Is anyone a wrestling fan? WrestleMania is 2 nights this weekend. It's Saturday and Sunday night, and it's in LA. It should be a big, fun event if that's anything you're into. I want to say thank you to Gonzo the Good, who also hit me up with a Fact Check Friday tip over on Rumble. So I do appreciate you, and that's a sign that you like what I do. That's a good thing. I am working on the studio, and I will probably have a new backdrop. And I actually got a new program for streaming. I'm going to be testing it out this weekend. So I'm not sure which platform I'll test it out on. But I'm going to be doing some tests this weekend on this different streaming program. Hopefully it will be more useful. It will be a better product for all of you. So we'll see. So change is coming with that. Let's see, lots of things in the YouTube chat. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Computer's a tad slow today. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Let's say, I think at the beginning there, Natasha said to check out a clip from a YouTube channel, Young Ripa 59. You can scroll up in the chat and check that out if you like. Let's see. Natasha said, I had an uncle who did the same thing in a hotel in New York City back in the 70s. Googled it. New York City hotel shooting, Texas. Sometimes these comments are so far back, it's hard for me to follow. That's okay. Says, Erie Ferry says, Tom is always right on time. I really try to be right on time. That's something that I'm working on. Because if I work on it on this show, I can also work on it on life. I try to be on time in life as well. I'm concerned that these shenanigans are going to tear apart the country. And that's in regard to Trump and these indictments. I am too. It does concern me. When you look at the pros and the cons of it, frankly, the cons way outweigh the pros. Even if, let's just suppose Trump's guilty of all kinds of stuff. Okay? Let's just assume that. Now, I don't know that he is about any of this stuff. I mean, they've tried to get him for 6 years now. They've been trying to get him. And they haven't. Both the impeachments and all kinds of stuff. They keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. So when you're doing this, you kind of gonna want to go with your best thing first, and then your second best thing, and then your third best thing. And now, what's this? The 20th best thing to come after him on? I don't know. Let it go. That's my opinion, but I am concerned about the unintended consequences of this as well. Rumble works on Roku. Yes, I have the Rumble app channel, whatever you want to call it, on my Roku. I have a Roku TV in my living room. Works really well. So you can check that out. I was a former longboard surfer myself, says Lucid Moments of Reality 5150. Nice. That's cool. There was a kid that chewed a piece of toast at school into a gun and got in trouble, I remember. Yeah, I've heard these stories of these what's it called? No excuses or zero tolerance policies, right? Where if you do anything with a gun, then you're in trouble. And, you know, if you make a gun with your finger, then that's like representing a gun, and they treat it like you had a gun. You know, zero tolerance for the most part is zero smarts, as far as I'm concerned. I think that everything needs to be looked at. You know, even murder, for example, right? Sometimes I guess there is justifiable homicide, right? So not every time it happens, you can say, oh, they should get the death penalty, right? We need to look at everything in context. Indeed. So if a kid chewed up a piece of toast into the shape of a gun, I don't know. That's what boys do. I'm assuming that's a boy. Let's see. So Natasha says, I used to play guns with my brothers and other male friends, run around, hide, shoot. I got you, you're dead. Nowadays, CPS would be called. Perhaps, depending on what community you live in. Let's see. What else we got here? Armed security can't be everywhere at once, but they can be earlier on the scene. I agree. And I'm not sure, you know, it's interesting. I think about my school. And I don't know if they were armed or not, but we had these security resource officers at my school when I was in high school. I don't know if they were armed. I don't recall. We referred to them as narcs. They weren't narcotics officers, but that's just what everyone called them, the narcs. But there were a number of them at my high school. Probably, I think we had like 3 or 4 usually on duty at the high school. It was a large high school. But I think we had 3 or 4 resource officers on campus all the time. And but I don't recall if they were armed or not. Yes, you're confusing your libertarian-minded congressman. Yes, I did. I made an error. I do that a lot. I make a lot of errors. That's okay. I don't hold it against myself, and thank you for not holding it against me. And I think we should all cut everyone a little slack if we get a name wrong. No big deal. There's a John Wayne film where he's a gunman and has to substitute in one-room school and puts his pistol on the podium, and the students stop being rowdy. Well, that might work. Actually, when I taught school, I don't think it would make a difference. A lot of these kids were so out of control. I think I could have had a gun, and I don't think it would have changed anything at all. I used to pretend that I had a hidden camera, and I would say I got a camera up here, you know, in the intercom. I put a hidden camera in there, and the principal's watching you right now. I tried that. It works sometimes, but not all the time. Let's see. Ballad of Buster Scruggs. First part, awesome, hilarious shootout scene. I don't remember that movie, but cowboy movies are fun. You're doing a pretty good Jenk impression, says Apothecary John. Well, thank you. You know, of course. Let's have some good mews. That's the good meow. Good mews from the like a cat. Crowdsourced pub. Awesome idea. Okay. Erie Fairy says, I don't drink alcohol, but I do like the kava bars. I've never been to a kava bar. That's kind of fun. Sounds like Callahan's Place. SF Stories by Spider Robinson, where Long Island Bar has lots of SF stuff going on. Not sure. Okay. Let's see. Bar Rescue. Thanks, Lucid. Put a backdrop of Portland behind you like David Letterman had New York. You know, originally when I started this channel, I did have a Portland backdrop. And people liked it. I was trying to do something different with this this jungle set. I think you're gonna like what I do. I think you're gonna like what I do. Won't that look like the opening scene from Terminator? Perhaps. Let's see. Anyway, I think those are just about all the comments we have today. Just checking out the other platforms, seeing things are. Speaking of the sunk cost fallacy from earlier this week, I'm going to be making some changes to where I am streaming, because I should only stream places where people watch, right? So I will be making some changes there this weekend. And I did discover something, that on Rumble, if I list my video as a vlog, as a personal vlog, it seemed to do better than if I listed it as under news. So I think I will start identifying my videos as vlogs over there. It seems to be doing a little bit better if I put it in that category. And perhaps on YouTube I can change. I'm going to give that a try. I'm going to change news to maybe a vlog, personal vlog, and perhaps it'll break out and actually get some views. We'll see. Lots of changes. I'm working on making things better. Again, if you haven't, you can check out the Discord that John set up. Link in the description. But I'm learning more about Discord, and I think it is a good resource. It's a good community area, and I think in the future it will be valuable to this channel. So again, thanks for that. That's about all I have. But I'm looking forward to Monday's show with a visual difference. So stick around for that. Hope you all have a beautiful weekend, and I will see you on Monday. Peace.